Welcome back to High Stakes. Elevate your game by subscribing to our channel so you never miss our daily content. For exclusive access to our premium betting picks, join our Patreon. Find the link in the comments section below. Stay ahead with High Stakes. Western Kentucky versus Middle Tennessee State. The Western Kentucky Hilltoppers were able to do well as they are looking to build off a 31-0 home win over the Eastern Kentucky Colonels. The team was able to get a lot going as they had 467 total yards, 351 passing, 116 rushing throughout the game. The team was able to move the chains effectively as they were able to go 6-for-10 on third down attempts. They were led by running back Elijah Young, who finished with 13 carries for 52 yards, 4.0 yards per attempt, with a pair of rushing touchdowns. The Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders are gearing up for this Week 3 game but are coming off a brutal 52-3 road loss against the Ole Miss Rebels. The Blue Raiders were able to tally 3 points on 278 total yards, 250 passing, 28 rushing, and the running game was basically non-existent as running back Terry Wilkins was only able to run for 19 yards on 7 carries. The Blue Raiders need to be able to get things going as they were just 4-for-14 on third down attempts throughout the game as well. Both teams have had similar beginnings to their season as each played an SEC team and got demolished, and the next week had a 30-plus point performance in a victory. Last season, Western Kentucky was able to secure a 31-10 home win, and that should be the expectation for this game as the Hilltoppers still have the better overall team. This is also a bit of a trap game for the Blue Raiders as they play against the Duke Blue Devils next week. Momentum is going to be the difference, and with Western Kentucky entering this game coming off a game where they averaged 7.3 yards per play, go with the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers to cover the spread on the road and win by multiple possessions as the better team. These teams are going to be able to score points in this game after scoring 30-plus points in their non-SEC game. The defenses are not able to get too many stops as the Hilltoppers are allowing 31.5 points per game while the Blue Raiders are giving up 38.5 points per game. With these defenses struggling, expect both TJ Finley and Nicholas Vattiato to have better games and have multiple touchdown passes each. Each team should be able to run the ball better as the Hilltoppers are averaging 3.0 yards per carry while the Blue Raiders are getting 2.5 yards per rushing attempt. All in all, go with over 54.5 points in this game here. South Florida versus Southern Miss. The South Florida Bulls are going to be looking to recover from the 42-16 road loss against the Alabama Crimson Tide in their most recent game. This game was a lot closer than the final score indicates as they were outscored 28-3 in the fourth quarter. However, the Bulls were only 2-for-18 on third downs and failed to convert on either fourth down attempt. The team had no success passing the football but was able to run for 206 yards on 46 carries, 4.5 yards per attempt. There is a bit of a difference between the USF Bulls and the Southern Miss Golden Eagles, and that will be shown here. The Bulls are rarely double-digit favorites, but the Golden Eagles just are not good, to say the least. Tate Rodemaker showed his inability to do too well as he had just 126 yards and 2 interceptions against the Kentucky Wildcats in Week 1. Southern Miss cannot consistently extend drives as they have gone 7-for-18, 38.89% on third down attempts. Their defense has only recorded 3 sacks, so they are not getting pressure on the opposing quarterback. Go with the USF Bulls to cover the spread on the road here. Both teams have had the under hit in each of their first 2 games this season, so they aren't going to be giving up too many points. Byron Brown has tallied just 1 touchdown this season, and they will do the majority of the scoring while Tate Rodemaker is susceptible to turning the football over a bit too much. Neither program has much of a running game, so they are going to be in a tough spot to get many points in this game. These defenses have been playing pretty well overall as South Florida is giving up 22.5 points per game while Southern Miss is allowing 20.5 points per game, well below the total for this game. All in all, go with under 57.5 points in this game as the better bet. Kennesaw State versus San Jose State. The Kennesaw State Owls, in their first season in FBS, struggled in their Week 2 game as they lost at home to the Louisiana Ragin' Cajuns 34-10. The offense was unable to get much going throughout the game as the team was only able to muster up 204 total yards, 93 passing, 111 rushing. Kennesaw State struggled to move the chains as they only tallied 12 total first downs as well. The San Jose State Spartans were able to keep their winning ways going as they were able to take down the Air Force Falcons on the road 17-7. Emmett Brown played well, as we touched upon, and was able to get the football to one of the best wide receivers in the sport in Nick Nash, who had 7 catches for 90 yards and a touchdown. The San Jose State Spartans are significantly trending in the right direction while the Kennesaw State Owls are struggling to get going. Davis Bryson has been unable to be a legitimate threat passing the football as he is completing just 51.2% of his passes thus far. Kennesaw State has tallied 162 rushing yards this season while San Jose State has running back Floyd Chalk for running for 130 total yards by himself. All in all, go with the San Jose State Spartans to cover the spread at home. The San Jose State Spartans are going to be able to move the ball as wide receiver Nick Nash continues to look like a top wideout in college football. The Spartans are averaging 29.5 points per game and should be able to improve on that number as the season continues. San Jose State has been a solid defense, but if they can score 30-plus points in this game, they are going to dominate. Kennesaw State needs to record 10 points and the over is simply the better play. Go with over 43.5 points in this game as the better option here. Ole Miss versus Wake Forest. The Ole Miss Rebels hit the road for the first time on Saturday and face an opponent from a power conference for the first time this season. On Saturday, the Rebels crushed Middle Tennessee 52-3 to improve to 2-0. They've now outscored the opposition 128-3 through 2 games and piled up 655 yards of total offense on Saturday. Quarterback Jackson Dart had an historic day on Saturday, completing each of his first 24 passes to set an Ole Miss record and missing the NCAA record by 2 completions. He finished the game 24 of 27 for 377 yards and 2 touchdowns, 1 on the ground and 1 through the air. Wide receiver Trey Harris had 9 catches for 130 yards and Ant Wayne Well Jr. caught his first touchdown pass of the season. Running back Henry Parrish Jr. ran for 4 touchdowns and 165 yards on just 14 carries. Wake Forest comes into this game after a heartbreaking 31-30 loss to Virginia in Week 2 to fall to 1-1 on the season. It was the ACC opener for both teams on Saturday night at Union Stadium in North Carolina. The Demon Deacons had a 30-17 lead, but the Cavaliers scored the game's final 14 points to pull out the win. Wake Forest was unable to retake the lead despite 2 possessions down the stretch. This should be a modest test for the Rebels on Saturday as they hit the road for the first time and face an opponent from a top conference. Unfortunately for Wake Forest, they are not close to the caliber of team that the Rebels are. The Rebels returned a dominating offense this year, including quarterback Dart. Dart has been dominant through the first 2 games and now faces a Wake Forest defense that is just 121st against the pass this season. They have also not faced an attack even close to the level of the Rebels this season. Ole Miss has scored 128 points in the first 2 weeks of the season and has the nation's top offense. The Rebels won't rely solely on the pass, they'll mix in a rushing attack that ranks 11th in the nation. On the other side of the ball, Ole Miss should be able to turn Wake's offense into a one-dimensional attack. The Deacons are just 68th in the nation running the football, and that will be an issue against the second-ranked Rebels' rush defense. While I don't expect this game to be a 50-point win for the Rebels, a 4-touchdown win seems reasonable. Take Ole Miss minus 22.5 points. Also take the under.